What is up, guys? In today's video I'm going to be going over the weapon attachments and what I like to use in chapter 5 season 2. This video is going to be somewhat basic. If you're someone who has already played a bunch and knows kind of what all the attachments do and what you like using, you're probably not going to like this video. But if you are someone who's like confused by the attachment system or just want to hear what I think is good, that's what this video is going to be about. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. And comment down below kind of what you think and what your favorite attachment setup is on, whatever weapon. And this is something that I have gotten asked about a bunch, and that's why I'm making this video. So there might be weird intricacies and, things like that with the attachments that I don't cover. This is just going to be kind of what the attachments do and what I like using. So the first weapon we're going to talk about is going to be the Warforged AR, because this is a weapon that I think is very good in season 2, but a lot of people have trouble using because of the recoil of the weapon. So that's why I just only have the red dot on it right now, so we can talk about this. I'm going to shoot it, and I'm not going to touch my analog stick at all. I'm just going to let the weapon kick as it does. And you see, it has mostly vertical recoil, and the weapons in Fortnite, for whatever reason, kick to a point and then just stop kicking. So again, I'm not going to counter the recoil at all. And you see it just stops, right? After a certain point. Because of that, a lot of people can look at these guns and think, okay, just aim low on your target and then let the recoil kind of even out. I don't think that's ideal. Like, that is one thing you can do, but oftentimes you might have like very small windows of time to shoot at an opponent before they either start shooting back, maybe use an item like bunkers, bubble shields, shockwaves to get away, or if you're in build mode, just build. And if you're trying to beam somebody out of the sky that's using wings, you don't want to just like wait until the recoil kicks out and then start shooting at them, like actually aiming, because they're going to, dive down and you're going to miss your opportunity. The better thing I think to do is to pull your analog stick down, or your mouse if you're playing mouse and keyboard, down in the direction opposite the recoil. So we said this weapon kicks mostly vertical. I'm going to put slight downward pressure on my analog stick when shooting. And you see, it still kicks a little bit, but I'm keeping it much steadier. And it's not getting as to the same height point. You still reach that point where it doesn't kick anymore. But just a slight bit of downward pressure. And you can hold most weapons in Fortnite steady. Compared to other shooters, I think Fortnite is like pretty easy to play. What I like to use on this weapon is going to be your choice of sight. I think one of these first two sights would be fine. I don't really care either way that much. I prefer 1.3 though. If I have to use the Ares version with the other red dot, that's fine to me. I like to go for the speed mag. One of the downsides of the drum mag is it does increase your magazine capacity, but it also makes it take longer for you to reload. So I would just rather have speed mag. I'm also someone who pretty much only plays like solos and duos sometimes. So like the drum mag isn't as necessary. For this attachment, I think most people are going to want to go vertical foregrip, just because the main downside of the weapon is going to be the recoil. But I think laser sight could also be a decent choice because of the Gatekeeper Shotgun's low magazine capacity. You're likely going to have times where like you have to swap to your spray weapon with the Gatekeeper Shotgun if things just don't go your way. And so if you are someone that loves using the Gatekeeper and you don't have the hardest time controlling recoil, then maybe laser sight would be for you. But I'm going to put on anti-recoil attachments. And then for the final attachment, we're going to do muzzle brake. This further reduces recoil. Suppressor does reduce your damage range. So what that is going to be is the range at which damage drop off occurs. Let me see if I'm in zone. Okay, we're chilling. Let's say a weapon went from doing 30 damage to 25 damage at 30 meters, right? With suppressor, it might start doing that lower damage at like 27 or 26 meters. It's a slight damage range reduction on the suppressor. And I also just don't really find that much value in the suppressor, because most of the times if I'm shooting at someone, they're probably going to be shooting back with ARs and stuff. And you could still kind of hear the suppressors in Fortnite. So if you want to use it, that's fine. But I think most people are going to have the most kind of success with just anti-recoil attachments on an AR. To make it as accurate as possible, or you swap vertical foregrip for laser. I think that works fine. And I would use the same setup on an MSS AR. I think it's like a very generic AR build, since it's a weapon for medium to long range, is just going to be low recoil. The sniper is something that a lot of people kind of have trouble with. So, or like kind of the most curiosity with. I like the 2.1x thermal. I was using the 4x a lot earlier on in the season, but kind of once everything had kind of settled out and I was ahead on gameplay for videos, I tried out the thermal more, and I actually quite like it. I think it's best for you to use whatever sight on the sniper leads to you hitting shots the most. So if you feel most comfortable with the 4X, use that. If you feel most comfortable with the 1.3, thermal, whatever, whichever sight you hit shots with, it's going to be the best for you. I also like to go speed mag, and then angled foregrip I think is a must on the sniper. This is going to make it aim down sight faster, which is going to be very nice for when you're kind of like peeking in and out of cover with the sniper. And then for the final attachment, I like to do suppressor. So earlier I said I don't find that much value in the suppressor because most of the time if I'm fighting, people are going to know I'm there anyways. And if you're worried about third parties, people close enough are going to hear you. And if the opponent is shooting back at all, then that's going to make noise. The sniper is the weapon I feel that kind of benefits from the sniper, in that you have a lot of fights where you're using the sniper where the opponent might not really know where you are or might not be able to shoot back because you're shooting really far range. I don't think it affects bullet drop at all. So I have had some people say that they feel like it affects bullet drop. I've never seen like a definitive test proving it. If you feel like it's harder for you to hit shots with a sniper when you have suppressor on, just don't use it. But I've been using suppressor, and I've also been using it like the entire time the snipers have been out, the Reaper sniper in Chapter 5. I've been using suppressor on it. So even if it did affect bullet drop, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to me, because the thing with bullet drop, I think, is that you just need to be comfortable. Like with bullet drop, you need to be able to look at the situation and then gauge where you need to put your shot in order to hit it. You know, if the opponent's running, jumping, how fast they're moving, how far away they are. It's very like you need to have an intuitive feel for it. So even if it did affect bullet drop, it's what I'm used to at this point. If you like the suppressor, that's fine. If you don't like suppressor, that's fine as well. Same goes with scope. Whichever one works for you, works for you. The 4X is the only one that has sniper glint, though. The thermal does not have sniper glint. For the burst SMG, and pretty much any SMG, I would want to go a build like this. Laser sight for better hipfire, muzzle brake for less recoil, faster reload, and then your choice of optic, maybe even no optic. And one of the things that's interesting about the burst SMG is the laser sight makes it totally accurate. So when you shoot the burst SMG with the laser sight on it, it has no spread or bloom at all. I don't know why this is the case, but it was the case all of last season and still is the case this season. Even if you use no sight in the laser sight, when you aim in, you get totally accurate hip fire. So that makes it a really good follow-up weapon to a shotgun. If your aim is good in close range, it also makes it a very good weapon for when you like maybe you're shockwaving onto an opponent, things of that nature. And that's the same setup I would use for the drum gun, and the same setup I would use for the Harbinger SMG. Maybe the one difference would be that, like, if you wanted to kit this out for range, like if you wanted to run shotgun, Harbinger SMG, sniper, maybe you would do something like vertical foregrip muzzle brake. But if I'm using the burst SMG, I'm always using laser. Pistol would also follow that same attachment setup, where like I would use my choice of one of the first two sights, speed mag, laser sight, and then muzzle brake. For the DMR, I don't even know what attachments I would want to use, because I pretty much never put attachments on the DMR. It's something I only really use early enough on in the game where like I just don't have a sniper yet. If I have a sniper, I'm not really going to use the DMR. And if I'm at a mod bench area, I probably have access to a sniper. In one of my videos for the ranked series, I ended up having to use the DMR, and I put like anti-recoil attachments on it just as like a generic build. And people criticize that. I don't like it with suppressor. When I've used it with suppressor, just picking it up, I didn't like it. So maybe you would do something like angled foregrip for faster ADS, muzzle brake for less recoil, speed mag, 4X. I do like the 4X on the DMR more than the thermal based on what I've used. This attachment, the speed foregrip, I haven't really talked about much. Let's put it... So it makes it where you move faster when aimed on sight. So I don't have it on there. And then we'll put it on. And then you see now I move much faster. This could be good for like strafing in certain situations. Like I could see it being helpful on the SMGs, but I think I would rather have the laser sight for less recoil or the vertical foregrip for reduced recoil. But I could see a world where like that weapon attachment is useful. I just don't really like using it on anything. And then the final thing we're going to talk about is shotguns, but the Storm is getting to be an inconvenience. So I think we're going to pick up with that in a new match. Now we're going to be back again to talk about shotguns. The Gatekeeper Shotgun, I think, is the one that most people are going to be interested in. So this weapon's main downside is that it only has 3 rounds in the mag. And so the magazine attachment is going to be a focal point for a lot of people. I prefer to go with drum mag. I talked earlier about how I don't like drum mag because it makes the weapon take longer to reload. However, in this case, I don't feel like the reload is that slow with drum, you know? And I would rather have 2 extra bullets to potentially get the kill than just reload fast. Like, this is a unique circumstance for me. If you're in a fight with somebody, you know, like jumping around trading shotgun shots, you're not going to be able to reload. So I've seen people say like they like fast mag since it has a low mag. They're going to have to be reloading a lot, which is true if you get time to reload. If you're in a fight that's a little more controlled, like maybe you and the opponent are both behind cover in a house playing right shoulder peek, or if you eliminate the opponent, you're able to get the reload off before you get third partied. But in the heat of the moment, which is what a lot of shotgun fights like turn into, I would rather have drum mag than speed mag. That's just me. So I go for drum mag, and then I also go for laser sight. Just to get better hip fire accuracy, because shotguns are weapons that you're typically going to be hip firing. However, the Gatekeeper shotgun is interesting in the sense that like it has a large reticle. As its downside, its downsides are its reload speed and its reticle side being weird, right? Or its magazine size and its reticle being weird. And you benefit a decent amount from aiming in. Like if you look at your reticle, the pellets can go basically anywhere within that reticle. And how many pellets you hit are going to determine your damage. And that's why shotguns are pretty inconsistent at times. So if you aim in, you shrink that reticle down a decent amount. And that should lead to more consistency for you. So I go for laser because I'm typically going to be hip firing. But if someone says they like going for laser sight because... or if they like going for angled foregrip because aiming in with this shotgun is probably going to be more relevant than any other shotgun, I could see that logic, honestly, but I tend to go laser sight. Also, a lot of people don't like sights on the shotgun. I typically don't use a red dot on my Gatekeeper shotgun, but I've had times where I just kind of have to because it's on there in the heat of the moment, you know? And for whatever reason, anytime I've had the red dot on the Gatekeeper and aimed in, it just hits like very hard every time. So that might be something worth kind of playing around with. Also, one thing to note, anytime you put attachments on this gun, you're going to want to reload it. So when you put on drum mag, you go to 5 rounds in the mag, right? But it doesn't go to that right away. So when you put the drum mag on this, make sure you reload it. And anytime you touch the attachments on it, make sure you reload it. Right here, I'm going to take off angled. It went back to 3. Don't know why that is the way it is, but it is the way it is. For the final attachment, muzzle brake or suppressor. I don't really like suppressors on my shotguns because, like I said, it reduces the range. Some people don't mind that, but shotguns are the weapons where range is a primary concern to me. So I don't like going suppressor. And I also don't think there's really any need to go for reduced recoil because the weapons don't have a fire rate high enough for you to really be worried about that, I think. Like it's like kicking up, you know, isn't a problem like how it is with the Warforged AR. And so I use just laser sight speed mag on pretty much every shotgun. I don't really use the hammer pump anymore, but I would probably just go laser sight speed mag. Maybe a red dot on the pump. I didn't mind it in the past, but most of the time I'd rather not have it. Shotguns are pretty simple in that regard. And that's basically it. So for a recap, I think ARs, your medium to long range weapons, it's best to go for a build that is going to improve your accuracy and make it easier to use. Your choice of red dot, then the speed mag, then vertical foregrip and muzzle brake, and that's going to give you the best recoil. If you want to make it a little more versatile, you could go for laser sight instead of vertical foregrip, especially if you're someone who's comfortable controlling recoil. For shotguns, I think it's just best to optimize close range fighting, and for that it's going to be laser sight and then the speed mag, just because reloading fast is like always a positive, you know? It doesn't hurt to reload faster, except in the case of the Gatekeeper shotgun where I would rather have the drum mag than the speed mag, but the other two shotguns I go speed mag. Snipers are the most interesting. I like to go thermal, speed mag, angled foregrip, and suppressor, but I think this is the weapon that is most up in the air. Some people like drum mag. I think the only attachment that's a given on the sniper is going to be angled foregrip. I think that's just you want that 100%. The other ones, some people like drum, some people for the 4x or the red dot, whatever feels good to you on the sniper, go for that because it's a very feeling based weapon. And then on the SMGs, again, it's a close range weapon, so I want to optimize it for close range. So I just go for a sight or none, speed mag, laser sight, and then muzzle brake for less recoil. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful, informative, interesting. If you did, give it a like, subscribe, comment down below if you did. I touched on this earlier on in the video, but this was a more kind of basic video for the people who are newer to this thing and aren't as used to customizing weapons and games and stuff. That's what I think. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.